So if you want to go give this a Google, you can look. There was a paper written by the IMF back in 2014 where they talked about an exchange rate peg. And the abbreviation that they used in that publication, or that white paper, was XRP. At the time, Ripple had renamed what was originally minted as XNS and is now XRP. They had rebranded it Ripples. And once that paper came out, they rebranded Ripples to XRP. So if that tells you, I mean, I think there's a there. I think the IMF and Ripple do have a significant relationship. When it comes to XRP being the ESDR is a basket of 7 different sovereign currencies, 6 or 7. I'd have to go look that up. I want to say it's 7, G7 nations. Based on GDP, is how much, of each currency they hold in the basket. That is the SDR. XRP doesn't function in that capacity. It would be the liquidity that would allow exchange between those, and it could be a reserve asset for them being a liquidity provider. But I do think it'll be the exchange rate peg, like that's the name, and that's why they rebranded to XRP, and they don't call it the ESDR. I think if it was going to be the ESDR, it would be something different. Now, XRP could sit as a currency in the ESDR if Luxembourg or Liechtenstein were to adopt XRP as the currency for their country. That's been speculated before too. So I do think that it could sit as a component inside of the SDR, but I don't think it's the ESDR itself. But I do believe, to your point, that the IMF and Ripple have had plenty of conversations. That's illustrated by the photos of both Brad Garlinghouse and Christine Lagarde at the IMF, meeting in 2017. Obviously, Christine Lagarde went on to be the president of the ECB and has continued to tout, the Euro stablecoin, the CBDC over there. Interesting how people move from one place to the other. So, all that being said, again, I don't think the XRP is the ESDR. It could sit in the basket, but I think it'll facilitate or sit in the spot of the exchange rate peg, working with the IMF. Shadespot says, if your investors have the percentage return of the growth and income funds, then you do, Jake. Are you willing to share how they performed since inception?